You want music too? I already.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, let people come on because
Sure.
I don't know. There's something about this that is universal healing, and something about that is important right now.
Just so you guys know, my hands are feeling like it feels like it's heat. There's a lot of heat on them.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Right.
I am streaming.
Just so you know, I might start crying. So I'm just letting you know. Right now.
Well, no, that seems to be my thing. Like heat comes off my hands.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Michelle like that too?
We are streaming, so I'll start the music.
Okay.
Just so
All
you
right.
know.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Frontlines meets the Speak Walkers meets the Speak Project meets all of us. So today we have had a very, very intense week, and a lot of very important things have happened. You know, obviously, just moments ago, you had President Trump announce that the head of ISIS was captured. I'd say that that's a certainly profound public announcement of the efforts that our military is making to overcome a very real enemy. Right now, it's not necessarily ISIS all by itself, but this is a much bigger and more dramatic global enemy that affects every country in the world. It affects every person in the world, and ISIS in and of itself is not the problem. The problem has been a very corrupt system that has existed for thousands of years and has been allowed to take place. And because this has been allowed to take place, we've all been fighting for our lives, looking to change the world. And that's where we're at today. That we're in a moment in time in history where we can actually transition into a higher place where humanity is not a second-class citizen. We are not the food of our enemies here. We are not the victims that we've been led to believe that we have to be. And today is very much a what I would call a divinely inspired type of like call. We have recently been dealing with some bold claims made about children being saved and things of this nature, and accusations against some of our people, and which were completely debunked and inaccurate, and then accusations about others who aren't even part of our organization who we've stood up for because we recognize that, you know, we stand for the truth, and that's been what we have endeavored to do the whole time, is not just speak the truth, but to be the truth speaking. So today, there is some information that we've known about for a long time, and it just finally came to a head. See, one of the biggest problems that we've had, and 2 years ago when Kim Gogan, the trustee for the central bank and for the unknown country, for the Man of World Holding Trust, who reached out to let me know that the RV was not going to happen, which a lot of people were counting on is kind of their way to heal, right, their escape. And she let me know that was going to happen. And one of the big reasons why she reached out to me is because I kept putting out military intel that was accurate, that was in line, because I was working a lot with the white hat groups at that time. So when they would do a mission, I would get live updates on the spot. And when I started giving them real intel, actually gave them the codes to the UN Black server that Kim gave me because the trust was being hacked, and I told them the exact location. Right after that, the Chinese elders ordered them to stop talking to me. So, because in reality, the government, military had been paid, blackmailed, and tortured, essentially, by the Chinese for a long time because there was a larger global plan to commit genocide on a massive level. And part of this is damage that was done to our veterans. So this, today, Michelle Walker has a very serious message, is a healing message. It is something that we have been told not to talk about in the past by different groups. And but we made a decision today based on a lot of the evidence and research that we were uncovering, because we're like, this doesn't match up. You know, these are not bad people that are doing this, right? But our veterans are very important, and our soldiers that are currently active are important, and the various militia who are, you know, former military are important, and even these mercenaries. These are people that are trained, and they are warriors, and they're trained to protect, and they have been put in compromising situations, and we're going to talk about that today. And it's a very, very serious thing. And so I was asked by Michelle, she had a premonition about this last night, that I should pray the call in, which is obviously something I don't normally do. Anybody who knows my background or has ever heard me before knows that's something I'm always a little hesitant to do, because I don't want to be lumped in with the other hypocrites who use the gospel to you know, to make it look like they're pious. So, but that being said, because of the seriousness, the gravity of this particular issue tonight, we were going to do this privately, and then I thought, well, I think it's important that we connect with other people. So I'm asking everybody today, regardless of your religion or personal energetic beliefs or lack thereof, whatever it is, I'm asking you just to pray with us today, because it's very important. And so if everyone could just please put themselves in a meditative state and bow in your heart, in your mind, recognizing that there is powers within us and above us that are far greater and far superior than anything that we can imagine here on this place. So we just pray on that. Dear Heavenly Father, we are humbled and appreciative for the work that you are doing here on this planet. We recognize that this has been a battle and a journey, and that humanity has been fractured and divided, injured, and otherwise left for dead in many ways. But because of your grace and mercy, your kindness and generosity, because of your benevolence, because of your omnipotence and omnipresence, we realize that we do not have a source, we do not have a God that is not touched by our infirmities, that all of the pain that we have felt, that you have felt with us, that everything that has happened here in this earth, inside and outside, spiritually and physically, that you have been an active participant with us, that you have never left us, that you are the very energy that powers who we are. Today we realize that we are in desperate need of healing. We have done all we can to do this ourselves. We have done all we could do to fight the good fight. We have committed our lives to changing the world. We have chosen freedom. We have chosen liberation. We have chosen to be examples and expressions of the best possible version of ourselves operating in this world as you. We know we are one with you, that our nature is divine. We recognize that we are not the fullness and the all-knowing, but we are complete, encompassing all of the creative attributes and abilities necessary to create this world. Father, we ask you to align us as a collective. We ask you to help heal ourselves, each other, and most particularly tonight, we ask that you help us to have the right words, the right spirit, the right attitude, energy, and disposition to help our veterans reconnect and heal, and to recognize the role and the importance of it, to recognize that we appreciate them. Please allow us to be filled with your spirit in love and in purity, to embrace one another, to tear down the ridiculous differences that are based on lies that we have believed wholeheartedly. Please allow us to remember who we are. Please allow us to realize that we are responsible for each other. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you give us the power of change, that you allow us to be the truth speaking, that you allow us to be examples to the entire galaxy, the universe, and wherever it might travel, that this planet is under the care, custody, and protection of an empowered race of creators. With this, in your name, let us all say hallelujah. All right.
Hallelujah.
Hopefully that gets us on the same page a little bit. That being said, I introduce Miss Michelle Walker.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfect words. And
Young lady, the floor is yours.
So I normally don't write notes. Many of you have watched me with and think over this time. You know, I normally don't write notes, and so as you will hear, I'm going to read a little bit tonight, and then I will take it from there. But so I'm asking you to just open your hearts and listen to the words that I've written for you. And I believe that it came from our Creator's source, and that's a message for all of us that we all need to hear tonight. And I just want everyone to know that I do not take this message lightly, and that I hope that everyone receives it, and that know that we're coming from love. And so I'm going to read what I've written, and feel free to stop me at any time, and we'll do what we normally do. So, okay. So, we have lived, we have lodged, flawed, and restored, and reformed. And the journey is about that. and what we have done to get to this place right now, and more importantly, what we have not done. The project, as well as people, is adamant about speaking the truth, no matter what the cost is. We never yield from the truth. There is not one single person, past or present, who have not made the sacrifice. I think it's all important that we all realize that we have all made the sacrifice. You just didn't realize it. They've poisoned your water. They poisoned your food. They poisoned us by building these corporate relationships, and they used bioweapons from you from the time we were born through vaccinations method. And we couldn't figure out what was going on. We just knew something was not right here. And so the last 24 hours for me has been a lot of the mixed situations and emotions. And I started trying to figure out why we were being deceived and tanked, and the way we were being deceived in the method was a dangerous way, because this way is trying to hurt a lot of people and possibly already have. And as our team has worked all day uncovering the truth, it made me think about the journey and what got me here. Why did I go on this journey? The journey has been what taught me to be mature spiritually and how to learn to grow in light and love instead of being in darkness and reacting in darkness. Be stuck in fear, boggled down by so many wrongs. And during that growth, I learned to grow in light and love and become a better person, a more productive person. Did the things I believe I'd been called to do. Destiny is the end point. So what if so many of us are being blindly led to the wrong destiny? What is the end point? The journey is about learning how to get to our goal. So what is the goal here? It's always speaking the truth, even when it can be hard to listen to. It can be hard to understand. We can only restore the power and make things new when we speak the truth. This show tonight will be about so many things. It's about restoring and hopefully reviving the people, reviving you to act and to be free of all the darkness that you have been struck in. I believe everyone deep down has been looking for a rescue, but couldn't figure out the right rescue. And we had so many disasters and deceptions in front of us, all around us, to keep us as a slave. And so I believe it's time that we start from the beginning of why I came in the fight tank and how this journey has gotten lost. And what has brought me back to this moment, this message today. So why I came in the fight is, you know that I have a love for veterans, and that's where it started for me. And my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and both of them are, but my grandfather committed suicide. And, you know, it just, something sticks out with you when you are removing your grandfather's blood. You know, I don't know why I didn't start out, but I remember just watching that blood go down the water and trying to rinse the blood out of the towel. And I was thinking, like, what caused this? Why did this happen? And then you know, having my first love of my children commit suicide was another part of trying to figure out why do people leave like this? What is going on? And so I started working with veterans and it was brought to my attention about veterans committing suicide. And they didn't have any help. And so I started trying to find out what the situation was, what was the true number, because, you know, they actually lie to you to think about the number. And how many veterans do you normally hear commit suicide a day?
22, I believe, is the number they used to talk about.
22, that's right. So I actually have found data where the government uses 22 because it's a psychological number you like. You're comfortable with it. And so that 22 only comes from 20 states. And it does not have Texas or California in it, which is your two largest states. It does not have, like, if they were come out of deployment or retirement of it in the first 120 days. And so during that process, and looking through the numbers were over 100. When you look in the National Guard, you bring everybody into the numbers, which I firmly believe it's not about 22, it's about all of them, it's about all of us. And through this, where we've gone wrong is we want to only think about maybe 10, or the government, the bad side, the darkness, only wanting to rescue a few. And we can't do that. We have to think about the whole, all of us.
And plus, the veterans have not been supported when they come back. They have something called the buddy program. So they basically have each other, and they buddy up, which clearly is not an appropriate measure when you realize that they have been introduced to active duty veterans, at least, have been introduced to all types of trauma. And and then what they do is they give them antipsychotics, which alter your brain, your mental state, and then they give them therapy so that they can relive their worst experiences over and over and over again. So it's something that Michelle and I were immediately connected on, because it's something I was working on many years ago with different veterans, and I've had many conversations with veterans that were suicidal, and all of them described similar situations to what Michelle's going to talk about tonight.
So the reason I came in the fight where I'm at now, because many of you, when you were introduced to me from the beginning with Seek Project and Change and Dan's show, was that I was talking about MERS and why MERS is important with the child trafficking and the judges and the money laundering. And the reason I got to that point was because of the love for my veterans and trying to find out why they were committing suicide. So during this process, I had actually spoke to over 1,000 veterans trying to develop a program of why they were committing suicide, how could we help them, not drugging them. And during that process, I had I heard some information that was heartbreaking, and I just could not believe that our men and women who write a check and they serve our country. And, I don't think people realize that they think, many of them go there to pay for college or to get out of poverty. And so you have to really realize why they're there. A lot of them not. And they love their country, but there's many who are trying to get out of maybe an abuse situation, or they want to pay for college. And so when we developed our program and we started working with suicidal veterans, I came across some stories that I'm going to talk about tonight, and they're going to be hard to hear, but it's the truth. And I believe at this point that we have to start speaking the truth to heal, and that we need our veterans at the table. And so if it's me speaking the secret for them to come to the table to fight for the people, then I have to do that. And so what I'm going to talk about is I've asked to be quiet about this, and I'm going to probably get emotional with you guys tonight, so I apologize for that already.
That's okay.
I was asked to be quiet about this with my veterans, and I have been. I've been quiet for a while.
Michelle, do you want to talk about who? Do you want to talk about who asked you to be quiet?
Yeah. And so, I had spoke with Bill McConnell, Able Danger, and I had exposed to him that I knew that our veterans, there's a lot of child trafficking going on military bases, and I knew that. And I actually was talking about, this is one reason why Nancy Schaefer got so she knew these things about kids being flown out. There are certain soldiers that watch, these areas of children being trafficked out. And that's why it came to me. I had a veteran that was going to commit suicide, and he told me a secret. And so I exposed this to Phil McConnell, and I explained that I knew that our veterans, there are certain ones who have been treated in a very inhumane way with our government to keep the government secret of trafficking children. And so what they do is, you have to understand the reason I found this out is because I had to save some people's lives who, because of going through this process, did not want to live here anymore. They couldn't live with the guilt of what they did. The reason they kept this secret from you is because what was done. So,
and Michelle, just to back you up, now, I have talked to veterans as well who have given me almost identical testimonies, and one of the things that's very common is in their active duty that they very often will remember a child that they were forced to execute or something of that nature, and it's something that doesn't go away. And so, just to be clear, this is, Michelle's intent, what she described to us tonight, is to give veterans the opportunity to heal, to realize that this is something that we understand this was not your doing. It is not your fault, and you are needed desperately in this time. You are needed desperately on American soil. Your courage, your training, the person that you were when you went in, the idealist that you were, the believer in the cause of what you were fighting for. All those things we want you to realize are they're very important to all of us. And so I just wanted to make sure it's not just you. That you're not alone in this, is all I mean. So go ahead.
So that's by Phil McConnell not to tell the American people. And I was told that if I told the secret that it would hurt the morale of our military, and we need them right now. And so for a couple of months, I've kept that secret. And, I kept the secret thinking that doing that, was a way to protect the men and women that I came to fight for. And that's my came in the child trafficking, was to fight for my military, to give them peace, and to stop them having to do this. So what I was told, from keeping veterans from committing suicide, I have, so what they do think is they will take some of these people and they'll bury them in a grave. And they'll keep them there for like 11 hours. And what they do is they sodomize them, and they video it. Now there could be, they could be forced to molest a child, forced to do things that you and I normally would not do. And they video this. They torture and they video sodomize men and women that have joined our military, and so that they will go along with the darkness to want to continue to use our military bases to traffic children. And when I told Mr. McConnell, Able Danger, this secret, or this intel that I knew about, and I was told I would be called right back. And I was told that, and I was told I was in the witness protection program because I knew this secret. And they said the W2 program. So let's be exact. I was told, well, you're in the W2 program now. And then I was asked not to tell that I needed to keep the morale. And so I kept the secret. And I felt like that was the right thing to do, because I'm a protector. Y'all know that about me. You know that I'm always going to come to the table and protect and fight. And so within a week of telling this information, I've had to leave my family to stay safe. And, anybody that's been around me knows that I've not been able to see my family for over 5 months now. And that's okay. Like I said, we have all made sacrifices, and that's okay. I'm going to continue to make the sacrifice until the job is done. But unfortunately, the reason I came in this fight was because I was asked by my veterans. And so that was the one thing that has been kept a secret. So the very reason I came in this fight wasn't even being spoken by me. The most important person that came to the table to fight for them would not even speak the story. And it was kept as from not being whole. It's keeping us these secrets that everyone is keeping. And, the military who have been told to do these things that is not proper. It is not right. It's not humane. It's not about humanity here. And you're being told in order to do these things, you're being ordered to kill people. And it's the time that we have to become whole. We have to begin the healing process. It's about this controlled opposition to make me think that we were helping me. Like, asking me to be quiet is controlled opposition. It's about, let's not speak the truth, and that's not who I am. It is, I speak truth to power. There will be no more secrets. If I know something, it's going to be spoken. So do not ask me, again, to there's the truth and be spoken, because it is imperative that we speak the truth so that we can be healed and that we can see that the proof that we're doing is real. And so this morning I called Hank and I said, something isn't right. So let's talk about, we started talking about these pieces that we've been working on, and with, my family with this big project, and we were all working on trying to put all these pieces together today. And why it would be so important for a controlled opposition to try to discredit me and this big project, because they do not want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know that when we speak that we are telling you the truth. We have no reason to lie to you, and we have nothing to gain except killing, except freeing you. And freeing your world. And they don't want people to know that there is a solution. They don't want you to know about him. They don't want you to know about the unknown country. They don't want to know there is a solution. The other side wants to keep you a slave, a commodity. They like using your energy. And that's why I came on before. And, in Tank, I said that I was fighting for child trafficking. And I realized today when I was writing this that 7.7 billion, all of us, are all being trafficked. So what if there's a solution? What if the solution is just so easy? And what if there was a plan that you were blindly following the wrong plan? Whether you're in military, whether you work at the Pentagon, whether you work at organizations who claim that they're fighting for child trafficking, what if the plan is wrong? You're blindly following the wrong plan. You got good intentions, but I know your heart that following the wrong enemy, and you didn't know they were the enemy, the gatekeeper. What if you were told you could create the solution? And the solution is very simple. You must all know what it certainly is true is many belong to a conspiracy type behavior. Many belong to those treasonous acts against humanity that has been inflicted on all of us, every one of you. And the good news is we have suffered enough, and being delivered is now. It is time to be delivered out of this. It is time to speak our truth and to speak power into healing. It's time to deliver all of us. And the power is within you. And so freeing the veterans led me to child trafficking. I heard stories of families losing their children, being harassed, children being trafficked. I knew that what our government was doing in the courts, the system was merged. I could see that A child pink is a hot commodity here. A child can be told multiple times, your guns, your drugs cannot. The child can. And when we have an average of 2 children are sold per minute, and we're not speaking out what is going on here. And as I built the cases, you had to figure a way to get them to agencies that could help you. And, I thought I found a safe one, and who claimed that they were working with the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. And anybody that watches us knows that you had to come and fight in my honor. And I absolutely appreciate this project doing that. And you came and fought in my honor other day because of that. And so here are the questions we've been asking for answers probably a couple weeks now, right, Hank? And what are the real answers? And would it be easy if you're really securing children, if you are really who you say you are, if you really are on a task force, the answer should not be that hard to find. And I know that I have served with many agencies in the back door, front door, and every which way I could. And Hank, I know you've done the same thing. And we could not confirm the 2,100 children being missing.
My Pentagon sources actually said that they did, that they would definitely know, and that they had no record of that. And that's 2 different sources that have been pretty reliable.
So I had the same thing. I had someone that listed the top 10, and they told me they could not confirm it as well. And so at this moment, I'm going to retract that message that we were all hoping was true. Now, it's very important to know that I was told by an organization that I'm involved with, where my intel was going to. And I have given Speak Project the evidence. And so anyone that wants to challenge me or question me, I'd be very careful, because anyone that knows me, I keep everything. Everything's recorded. Everything is documented. And so there are multiple people who have all the evidence. So Tank, you know that I have been working with Phil McConnell and the Children's Crusade, and have been sending intel. And the intel I was sending was extremely serious at times. There are, some intel that can talk about thousands of children being killed on a weekend type trip. It's horrible. The things that we've reported. We've reported about children being literally feasted on and their faces filleted off and burned. We've given locations, we've given maps. And when I was giving this information the first of this summer through that channel, we were getting results. We were getting children home through the court system, through Child Protective Services. We were having results. And today I was having a conversation with someone, I'm not going to say their name, and we realized that a few weeks ago we were talking things, and we were actually talking about not taking cases, because it seemed when we took some cases, all of a sudden the parents were being arrested and having trouble, and we couldn't figure out what was going on, because we've never had that problem before. I've had parents who've been in jail literally from the judge, and they didn't get charged because of me being in there. And so I couldn't figure out what was going on, and we talked about not taking cases because of this. And things changed. The intel seems like it's in the hands of an enemy, and could not figure out the cases. And last night I was on a conference call for 2 hours, and something felt off the entire time. And I got off, and I spoke with the Speak Project family, and we spoke about some things, and I said something's not right. And so these things have to be addressed, and then we have to find the solution. So first, number one is I am retracting my statement right now that those 2,100 children that Timothy Homestead reported were missing is a lie. I do not believe that. And so I'm challenging that if anyone wants to challenge me that it's not a lie, they are going to have to bring forward evidence of pictures and video to let us know that it is truthful. Until you can do that, I'm going to say that what you are speaking of is deceitful, is a lie. And in this call last night, someone said, well, maybe they did it for shock value.
No, that's not the right reason.
For shock value?
There's enough shocking.
We don't do them for shock value.
Right.
You know what the shock value is that a child can be out 6 to 10 times a day. I mean, I said there's been 3-year-olds that had to, have penises in their mouths, and I have a case right now I'm working on a well sodomized by a toothbrush with a rectum, reconstructive surgery that is in the hands of a pedophile. That's real people. That's the real news. And those are the people I fight for, and those are the people I speak the truth on, and those are the people I'm going to continue to fight for. And so the reason that you come after my integrity is because you know I have my paperwork, you know that I have my cases, and you know that I am looking for a solution. I'm not looking to be a journalist. I'm not looking to be a news headline. I'm looking to find the truth, and I'm looking to heal our land. And the reason that you came after my integrity is because my integrity is intact. And you know that I know the secrets of your government of what you did to our veterans. You knew also that I needed our veterans on the front line fighting for us. They need to be home fighting for us. And you have tried to silence me. You've tried to put me in a different position. You've brought so many controlled oppositions to me, it's not even funny. And you did that because you thought you could control me. And that's a bad mistake. Never bring me in your scam if you do not want to be exposed. And so, right now, King, it appears that the evidence that I was sending to Phil McConnell's email address, it appears that it was not getting done. It appears that it was going to possibly the hands of the enemy. And I can tell you right now that our cases didn't change when there was an alignment with Timothy Homestead in court. Around that time period is when we're trying to figure out what went wrong. Now, I'm not saying that he is the reason. I find you when the timeline came that something's not being truthful, something is being deceived, the public is being deceived.
So, Michelle, you can. So in this, because I just want to make sure this is clear. So, basically, you have a group there with, Phil McConnell you have a whole group that is doing a lot of work, and Michelle was part of it, to gather evidence and help people and take cases on, right? And actually bring that to light. Now, the expectation would be that they're doing real work so they would know these people, right? And they'd be working with them directly. And in your experience, I mean, you contacted people, right? Today or the past few days?
Yes, I've contacted people, and what we were told on some information is not correct. And on some of our information, we're waiting still on some other information to come in on some of the cases that we have that have not shown up yet. And right now, I made a statement that we had met with Trump team, and right now we're even trying to get a confirmation on that. And when we have those issues going on, you have to pull back. And you have to say what is going on. We have to keep the truth. And the truth is that, unfortunately, with all the work that we've done, and this is not the only outlet that we use, but And unfortunately, right now, until I can be proven, someone can prove to me otherwise, and that I believe at this point, evidence is that, the that was attacked on me on Facebook when you came and fought in my honor was not true. They were saying that I said I was a part of the task force. No, I never said that. I gave information. And Timothy Homestead even said that my information went to the Pentagon Task Force coordinator. We have that message. And but unfortunately, it appears that my evidence has gone into some hands of some people that may not have the best interest of the people. And that is why tonight is so important to me, is that we have given some serious evidence and some maps drawn out. We've given locations of people, of children that are going to be possibly killed in the next couple of days. And it does not appear at the time that evidence is in the right hands.
Now, but just for the record, we have since made adjustments. So we have retrieved other evidence, very, very important and sensitive evidence, through different channels and taken it through different places to avoid this happening again.
Correct. And, I started talking to other groups, letting them know that all of a sudden that my Proton email that had the evidence and that came in and the evidence that went out to the Intel group all of a sudden was not readable. This project has a screenshot of that if anyone wants to challenge that. And so go ahead and challenge me. But all of a sudden I could not read my messages anymore. And they're then encrypted where you can't see any of the writing. Now, unfortunately for them, that's not my only way in information. So I still have it.
And all this stuff is backed up, by the way. I have everything that Michelle has shared, and all of that has been attached to my 1,000 points dead man's trigger that I set up some time ago, so that if anything happens to any of our people, we make sure that goes out. And there is a lot of terrifying, sensitive information in there that nobody wants to have, but we have it set that if anything were to happen to anyone on our team, that it goes out to everyone. And it would be, some of this stuff is just damaging, to the general public, which is why you don't put it out. If you can't use it to actually prove something, there's no reason to put it out. But if we get attacked, or if any of our team gets attacked, that was always the plan, put that out.
And I have audio of and some things that I don't think that the darkness would like out in the public. And so this is where you're kind of on notice right now. And Speakwalkers are putting some stuff on notice. If you think that you're going to get by with taking intel and continue doing what is going on, you are wrong. You do not have the power on this earth anymore. And you can keep playing the game, but we sit from the top and we watch you. And I'm letting you know right now that you did not have the power, and that all darkness has came to light. And there will be a change. It is time to heal our land. It is time to be restored. And we have to come together collectively as one. And we are the plan. Stop blindly following and being a slave even through the plan. You're not a slave. You have the power within to be everything that you want to be. You have everything in you to have love, kindness. Like you want to go home and you want to be with your family, we can all have that. We all have to come together and be one. and fight in a way that we've never fought before. I say this a lot of times to people in conference calls. This time it's going to be written in the history books that we didn't fight the way they thought we would fight. We will not fight with war. We will not fight dirty. We will not do the name calling. And this is not about you coming after my integrity the other day, and Mr. Homestead. This is about speaking the truth. And I'm going to tell you, if anyone feels like it is appropriate to lie about rescuing a child, you need to question your moral compass. If you are getting intel and you're not delivering it to the proper people, you choices. And it's time for you
It's frozen. Hello, anyone else there? Michelle is frozen. Is everyone else frozen? We're still broadcasting. So I just don't know what, it went offline. So it'll come back one moment.
that you will no longer gather intel and use it going to. You don't have the power to do that. That will be shut down. And you are not going to come after my family. You will not come after Speed Project. You will not come after me, Tank, like you did the other day when Tank did the announcement of the RV is not going to happen. Let's just quit lying about that. Let's quit being deceitful. And let's stop blocking the money for humanitarian products and on behalf of projects on behalf of the people. Let's stop lying. The minute that I sent that video to Phil McConnell and I requested a meeting with Tank privately, and immediately Tank, I, and the project were tagged on Twitter trying to discredit him. And when you do that, you're not really coming after me and Tank like you think you are, or Speak Project. You're coming after all of us. You're coming after all of us.
That's
Why
right.
would you want to do that? Let's speak the truth. Let's speak about who she really is. Let's say who she is. And how has your Chinese elders been working for you? You still a slave? Because I think you are. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not going to be that way. And
now,
if you think that you're going to come after our family, and if you're going to come after and think that you have the power to stop humanity and being free, I'm telling you tonight that you're wrong. And the message is that what is in place is going to happen. That there will be light and love restored and integrity on this realm, and that the people will no longer be a slave of you. And it's very important for my military to know that it doesn't matter what they did to you. I gotta have you right now. Let it go. I need you to heal. I need you to be restored. I need you to feel the light within your soul. And I need your soul to come back alive because we need you. We need our veterans at the table. I need my military strong. And we need to take the darkness out. And the way that we can take the darkness out is you've been trained. You know what to do. If there's time, we fight differently. We do it the right way. We come to the table and we are on the right side. Let's take it back to this kind of light. Let's be of love and peace, and let's do the right thing. And for that to happen, you have to let go of being sodomized. You have to let go of being told to kill a child. You have to let go of watching in other countries of children being raped and being told to stand down and not do anything. Protecting the airplanes going in and out of these Air Force bases. Moving children that have been taken from home. All is forgiven. And it's time to be restored. And You have to come to the table as a whole, because when we come broken and when we come depressed and when we come out of fear, we don't get anywhere. That's what they want us to have. They want us to be broken. They want us to feel like that we've done something so terrible that we cannot create our fix our wrongs. And I'm telling you that is wrong. That we can be made whole again, and we can be aligned with our souls the way that they're supposed to be. And when we are aligned that way, we create change. And it is time to create change. And so tonight, my message from the bottom of my heart is why I came to the table from the very beginning. And that is on behalf of my veterans. And I need you to speak the truth. I need you to stop following orders that are not right. If those orders are not for humanity and they're not of man, that if you would not want that done to your child, you wouldn't want that done to your family, do not do it. Stand down. Doesn't mean we quit, because we never yield. We will never yield. We are going to change the game, and the game changes today.
Yes,
There will be no more of this. You will not deceive people. You will not take the intel that I gave you. You do not have the power to take that intel and use it against people. I've already taken care of that today. So good luck with that. And you don't have any power with my intel to make it wrong or to hurt people. And I have more power than you. And you don't have that power. So know that I've already taken it away from you today. And we will restore life. We will free children. And I am calling on behalf of humanity, love, and light tonight to restore every family, every heart, every being, and every soul, that we all become one and we know what to do, because the power is within us, guys. The power is to be restored in all of us. And it's a message that's very important. You've got to get the message. And we have to do this. We have to have the courage to change. And we have to have the wisdom to know what is good and evil. It is not about Republican or Democrat, liberal, or anything. It really isn't. This is about good versus evil, darkness versus light. And the answer is not that complicated. The answer is so simple. And when we heal and we make the change, I promise you there will be peace that will come across this world in every place. Every single place on this earth will feel that peace. And we can live the lives that we're supposed to be living. That is my message tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well done, Michelle. That is Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Anybody?
we hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle. That was wonderful. It was perfect, right on point.
Dan, are you still here?
I am here. I heard everything, except for a brief
Hey,
moment we fell offline.
Say, just hit her up on Telegram.
Dan,
So
I
she
can't
knows
hear you if you're talking.
Say, hit her up on Telegram. Let her know that we can hear. Okay. All right. So, here, let me make sure she can see me, I guess.
Dad, can you talk?
I can talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're audible.
We're here. So I do want to point out some things really quickly.
No volume for me.
It's okay. Well, Michelle will catch on. So just tell her that, she said all she needed to say. We're closing out the call right now, okay?
I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you if you're speaking. So I want to close out the call for me. This is my message to y'all, and I love all of y'all. Speak walkers out and be the change tonight. Got it, guys.
I love that. Speed walkers out.
So thank all of you and know that I love you, and I hope the other side that's made bad choices that you will fix your life. So know that this came from love, and this has been a hard message for me. I've been in meditation and prayer all day for this message, and I love all of you guys, and I wish all of you a good night. And tomorrow is a new day for all of us. So Speak Walkers is out, and I believe Speak Project is out also, and I will see y'all the next time around. Good night, guys.
All right. Good night, Michelle.
Right, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.
All right. So before we hang up, just to reinforce what Michelle was saying, there's a couple things I do want to point out to everyone. One, I put out a very, what I consider to be a very cordial invitation for Able Danger, who tried to discredit Kimberly Ann Gogan by using Bubba's website, which Bubba doesn't have a name, right, or even a face on the website. It's just a guy with a big belly, and he just proceeds to trash Kim and Thomas and throws me in there as well, right? Now, he references Bubba's website, who's a disgruntled former THI member, allegedly. And there's no evidence, there's no proof of anything that they say other than a nonsensical rip-off report, which was, if you read the first rip-off report, allegedly it was written by Kim, which is ridiculous. And it's all of this nonsense and lies. None of it is true, not even remotely. And then they try to say scam. She's a scam, Hank's a scam, everybody's a scam who's associated with trust. So the first thing is, you'll notice we never solicit donations. We don't sell products, and we don't advertise. Now, the reason why we do that at the Speedy Project, for those out there who think that that's off, well, the reason why we do that and basically committed ourselves to a life of poverty until this actually changes over, is because we recognize the power of having integrity and being a voice for the truth in a time when it seems like no one is speaking the truth and you can't trust anyone. And when people are making claims that aren't true, and then there's a million things that are true that no one would believe because they're so insane. But I did take note that Able Danger did not reference the Speak Project. Now, the Speak Project has whole pages, hundreds of pages of documents that say essential documents. And in that, we provide confidential documents and all types of other documents that demonstrate that Kim is real and everything we've been talking about is true. And furthermore, so no one can say, I know there's sites out there that all it is logs and they never prove anything, they just make claims. I know that. We don't do that. We prove everything we've said. And I will tell you that every single word Michelle just said, and she was conservative, to be honest. I'll tell you that I put out a challenge to, Timothy Holmstead, who was speaking ill. He put out a post that said, "Be careful who you watch," and then claimed that in that video that Michelle was claiming to be part of the task force. Well, I'll take it a step further. I couldn't even find any evidence of that task force existing. First of all, not to say there might not be some secret task force, but as far as I know, if it's a secret, why are Timothy Holmstead and Able Danger talking about it? That's one. Number two, we have multiple sources from Pentagon. None of them. I mean, we had 5 different sources just in my very small network, not to mention Michelle's sources and other of my sources. They have more sources. None of them could verify 2,100 kids being rescued, right? Now, they wanted credit. They get it. So they reported that. Now, the next thing is that the actual people that they're claiming to help with Able Danger's organization, well, when they were contacted, they had never been contacted by anybody from that whole, Children's Crusade or whatever it is. They were never contacted. So how are you helping people and they don't even know who you are? What are you doing for them? This is part of the reason why Michelle's talking about having it. Now, not only that, but we have this recorded. We have the documents to prove it. Every single thing we say, we're the wrong people to talk about because before we talk, we've already proven it. We have the documentation. We have the actual audio recording to back it up. Now, the next thing is that I also mentioned Craig Sawyer. Craig, Sawman Sawyer, he has an organization. They go out and he's been working to stop child trafficking, right? And Timothy Holmes has come out and talked ill of him. Now, I told all of them to contact me. Craig Sawyer is the only one who had the integrity to reach out. When he reached out, he provided evidence. He showed me absolute proof of what he's doing, of what of the interactions he's had with Field McConnell, who is a former Marine. And if you are a Marine, you know that the Marines, the tagline is death before dishonor. Now, I can tell you, speaking to Craig Sawyer, he takes that seriously. That means something to him. So that man, he made a call, Phil McConnell, and Phil McConnell didn't have the decency to respond to him properly by calling him back. Sent him back a snarky, email backing up, Timothy Holmes. Now, we also have other recordings on that we're not going to go into. We have more information on that too. We are not putting that out because we are not trying to make it about them. It's not about them. But I just want to be clear. We have that. We have all types of other information as well, or we wouldn't even bring it up. And I'm not trying to start a fight with them. What I am trying to do is get people who are involved, who think that they're going to get help with their kids. I would not recommend it. I would not advise it, because based on the interactions we've had so far, the only person who showed up with any case files, any knowledge about the people they were allegedly helping, was Michelle. And I can tell you Michelle will not be working with them at all anymore. So I just want to clarify that. I also want to clarify this. This is a common practice. They use trauma, and they do terrible things to you, then they make you feel like it's your fault, then they shame you for it, and they blackmail you for it. It's the same way any scumbag pedophile, whoever raped a kid, will be able to walk back into that house in front of that child and act like nothing ever happened. And that child will be there mortified, demolished inside for the rest of their life every time they see that person. And in other ways too. And this happens all the time. Now imagine if, not if, by the way, but imagine that on some level, that has taken place to our government. That has taken place to those who were raised in the order, because this is how they were raised. It was normal. They try to replace the natural love that we have for one another, the natural expression of love, with some perverted version of it. And they try to make it okay. They have done that with branches of our military, and some individuals there. They've also had others in active duty who were forced to do things exactly what Michelle said, sit there and watch people get killed, or participate actively themselves in killing people, or igniting unnecessary explosions that they knew wasn't necessary and they knew would only hurt civilians or young kids or things like that, knowing that there were soldiers that were raping the kids in the area, and they had to turn a blind eye because it wasn't their business. And any man knows there's just something in you that would just fight that to make sure it didn't happen, because we feel naturally to protect our women, to protect our children. Now, and mothers, don't they feel naturally to protect the children? That's naturally how we're made. So what they have done is they have actively taken steps to destroy what is natural about being human. They have taken steps to destroy what is beautiful and pure and right about humanity. And that is essential that you know that. Everyone who's been through that out there, because it's not just soldiers. Michelle just said, we're all being trafficked because we've all been put this. Even this ridiculous abuse that is taking place right now, that they have drugged our children. We put out a video today with the nurse from Rachel, I can't remember her last name, but she is a forensic nurse, and she destroys any argument the government has, and the FDA, the CDC, anyone has to continue this practice to try and dare impose vaccines on people. It is a methodology of a slow genocide. They are doing it intentionally. They know they're doing it, and they've been doing it for years. They've been doing it for decades, knowingly poisoning us. And you could go back and listen to the MK Ultra video when Lolly comes on, and she says the ideal way to kill somebody is to kill them in such a way that they don't die there on the spot. But when they leave you, Now you're not liable, then they die. That's exactly what they're doing with the vaccines. They're doing it on purpose. And when they make it too good, they kill a lot of people instantly. But generally, that's how this whole thing started back in 1985. They killed 400 people with swine flu. They made that too good. So they wanted to kill you over time, separate, so that they are not liable. But I'm telling you, we do not consent to that. That we hold you liable. And I mean every single one of them who has signed off on the vaccines and this entire process. And I'm telling you this, not 2 days ago, I spoke to somebody who allegedly is a part of this task force, who's allegedly, working with what would seem like maybe the white hats, that we all think are good. And I'm telling you, the white hats have been compromised. I'm not saying there's not good white hats, but I'm saying the white hats have been bought in to an agenda, and the evidence this man said outright, I will show you the text. He said clearly, he said the Iron Mountain is working perfectly. And he is talking about the Iron Mountain agenda or the Iron Mountain report, which literally creates disease as an enemy, the climate as an enemy, it creates the people as an enemy, the economy as an enemy, right? That's what it's designed to do. And I understand everybody out there who's bought into that Iron Mountain agenda. It is a genocidal plan, and it's designed to kill you too. It is not what you think. On the surface, you think it looks great. But the reality is, it's just a plan of genocide, and nobody wins if you stay down that path. So, and I want people to know that it's live and active right now. And I'm looking for people to share and tell other people so that we can help people heal. We know what we're talking about. We're dealing with these people directly. We're just putting the pieces together so that we can all heal. So that is all I have. And everybody, hopefully that's it. Dan, thank you so much for letting us go live. I appreciate your patience with us tonight. And everybody out there, please take the time to listen to Michelle's message and share with a friend. Share with a veteran. Share with a cop. Anybody that you feel has been messed up, okay?
Yeah, that's one. That's very good. I did, can I ask you a question? I didn't want to interrupt Michelle, but when she was talking about all of the military that were going through these horrible things, what portion of the military is it? Just a certain division? Is it like across the board? Is it scattered? Is it widespread? Is it a small group? Being put into a grave with bodies and forced to do those things with children. I mean, how much of the military is having to deal with this?
I would say, now I can't speak for Michelle, but from what I understand, it is much, much more widespread than what we ever imagined. I know that I have spoken to dozens of different groups privately and confidentially, and I won't go into names or anything, but I can tell you that I know directly of soldiers that were put in graves, buried alive, videotaped, with dead children laid on top of them, with sometimes a shallow grave of about 3 feet, just enough, and then while others watch them suffer, making bets to see if they get out. And I can tell you several cases like that. And then, in addition to the abusive sodomy that they described, which is much like a hazing, right, to bring in certain members, it's I don't know the exact percentage. What I would say though, it's enough that you have a you have this very large force of military still that are, one, killing themselves, and in large part as a result of these things. Two, they are willing to work for people that ask them to do terrible things after the military because they already feel dead inside.
Right.
So they're just going to make money. And three is they, even in this state now, knowing that this is a genocidal plan, the shame is so deep, and because they're surrounded by others with the same shame, That seems like the logical path versus, what in God's name are we doing right now?
Right.
This is insane, right?
Right.
It literally forces you to fracture and disconnect so that that's someone else who went through that experience, and you are this individual who's here now, the warrior who's here now. And connecting those two together, allowing ourselves to feel that pain, and then move forward to heal it and never let it happen again is the answer.
Right.
Allowing it to be buried is not. And that was the kind of the core of what Michelle was after, and I agree with her.
Yeah, I feel that, and I'm glad that we're here to give that message and offer our open arms to allow them all to, come back from where they're at, because that is a hell, and that's why they break them that way. I mean, it's purposely designed, to destroy them and who they were, right? But they're still there. It's just they have to just move past this, and the way to heal is to basically help the world heal and move past everything that they've been put through. And it may seem very difficult, but it is true that time heals all wounds, and you just have to take those steps, move in that direction, and we'll all get there together.
And I agree. Now, that being said, I have a message from my mom that I wanted to share because I feel like it applies so far. It seems like every conversation I've had for the past 2 days, it seemed to apply to them too. So this is how I want to end it. This is my mom and the scripture she sent me. This is Philippians 4:8. Give your mind rest from the terrors you're dealing with, or you will not be able to continue. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. And then my mom said, and these are the things that you're striving to say. All right. Everybody have a good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.